Some people want to live in a place where they can enjoy the charm and peace of a beautiful small town, but at the same time be close enough to a mid-sized city to enjoy those conveniences as well. Conveniences like a top-ranked hospital, big box stores, and community events. In other words, they want to live in a place where they can have their cake and eat it too. If this is the kind of place you're looking to settle down in, stay tuned for this video, where we discuss some of the gorgeous small towns near St. George, Utah, a mid-sized city in southern Utah known for its mild winters, stunning scenery, and its friendly community vibe. Also, stay tuned for later on in this video where we talk about a unique property in a fascinating area of southern Utah, as well as our pick for the best restaurant in all of southern Utah, which happens to be in a small town near Zion National Park. And you'll also get a little driving tour of one of our favorite small towns near St. George. Let's get started.
So let's start with talking about sort of the king of the small towns that are around St. George, where you can sort of have your cake and eat it too, and that is Hurricane, Utah. But before we do that, try to guess, where are we? We'll tell you later on in the video where we are. Locals, you might know where we are, but anyone who's not a local, you may be wondering. So we'll tell you a little later.
It's a new construction.
Oh,
it's a new project.
Well, you can see by all the tourists around us that it's definitely not new construction. It's a historic site. But anyways, you want to sort of talk about Hurricane and what makes it so popular, especially for anyone who kind of thinks St. George maybe is getting a little bit too big. Again, that's not us. If you've ever watched our channel, we don't think St. George is getting too big, but we totally get it if you are someone who does.
Especially if you've been here for decades and you're going, St. George has grown so much. So you're going, okay, all that, I guess in their minds, like all that charm that was here, it's just too big now, right? It's kind of gone big city life basically. And so what Hurricane is kind of like, I would say probably what St. George was like 3 decades ago, where its population is about 25,000, give or take. It's definitely much smaller than the St. George itself. It's about 30 minutes, 40 minutes from city center. So you're still not that far away from all the necessities that you would need, like the major hospitals there, like the major shopping that's there. Not that Hurricane doesn't have shopping itself, but it's obviously certainly not as robust as St. George, of course.
Yeah, and then you've got a ton of other very small towns, like we're talking, so Hurricane's 25,000, I mean, then we've got towns that are, population 400 or something like that, Laverkin's a little bigger, Leeds, Toquerville, Virgin, Springdale, Rockville, and then New Harmony's kind of in the other direction. We're really sort of focusing today on
the way to Zion.
On the area, that's close to Zion National Park, whereas New Harmony is a super awesome small town, and we actually have a video on that, and I will link to it at the end. But that's closer as you get to Cedar City, much higher in elevation too.
So before we continue, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Sean Dazad.
And I'm Courtney Dazad.
And I'm a licensed realtor here in the state of Utah. And if you're watching this channel, you might be thinking, wow, Sean, I love St. George. I love the blue skies. I love the actually year-round weather. I can't wait to move here now. The problem is I'm not local. I may be out of state. I may be even out of the country. So I don't know what to do. And I totally get that. That's when we reach out to us, because we work with a team that has over 40 years of experience selling properties here in the greater St. George region itself. So we know all the nooks and crannies. So what you want to do is you're going to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country. I would say Toquerville is one that has a lot of, exciting things that are happening.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
So what they're doing, it's really interesting. So they have a main street in Toquerville that the city is really trying to restore. So they are constructing currently right now, as we speak, a byway to get a lot of the traffic of the people that are going to Zion National Park. They want to divert them away from the main street, sort of restore the old town charm of it. And then along that new byway, they're going to have a lot of new construction, a lot of commercial. So they're kind of trying to restore the city as well as develop the city at the same time.
Yeah, this is kind of where, like, it's a byway from like the 15 freeway, and to get because there's a couple of different ways to get to Zion off of the 15 freeway. One's actually running through Hurricane, the other one's running through Toquerville.
Yeah, so, and then Toquerville, it's very close to Hurricane, so you're about 30 minutes from downtown St. George, and it really does have this feeling that you're in a really small town, but you're really only about 30 minutes from, a really highly ranked hospital from downtown St. George.
Yeah, I actually love Toquerville. I think that it just feels like you took a portal and when you're in some Midwestern town. It feels so different than what you think of as far as St. George area, like completely.
Yeah, and stay tuned because we'll show you a little driving tour through Toquerville because we're doing another driving tour, so subscribe for that. But then on this video later on, we'll show you a little, driving tour of Toquerville just to give you an idea of like the small town charm that you really feel. So. And then if you are interested, if you are moving here with a family and you're wondering about the schools that are in these areas with these small towns, there definitely are, good elementary schools, high-ranking elementary schools in the Washington County School District that you have access to, whether you want to come to Hurricane or whether you want to just use, I know there's Laverkin Elementary School that's got a fairly large population, so there is options. And then obviously Utah has a lot of people who choose to do homeschool, so that's an option. I know a lot of people who live in small towns, they tend to do the homeschool. So
I do have a little point about the school stuff. So I have had people reach out and they're looking at the school rankings. I do feel like the school rankings are actually unusually harsh on the schools in the area. Like you'll see a school that's ranked 5 out of 10 and you're going, that doesn't sound right, because I know plenty of people that actually have kids going through these schools and they're super happy with the education. They've come from different parts of the country and super happy with how the schools are being run. It's just that, how these metrics are done, it's kind of it's obviously weighted against the rest of Utah, where Utah itself has fantastic education. So so you take those rankings with a little bit of the grain of salt, or at least, but obviously what I always recommend is that since schools are such a subjective thing, that you reach out to the administrators, you reach out to maybe the different parents that have pupils in those schools to kind of get a sense of if it's the right fit for your aspiring student.
Yeah, and then just to sort of answer some of the things that we teased at the beginning of the video. So one really awesome place to eat is Wild Time Cafe. That's probably our favorite restaurant in the entire, southern Utah area, and that's in Springdale. So that's a great place to eat. And then we did want to tell you about, there's this really beautiful little cottage in Rockville that's built by a vineyard. So there's a agricultural easement by the vineyard, and so I'll also link to that at the end. We have a tour of that house, and then there's other homes that are planned for that property, so we just wanted to sort of let you know about that as well.
Yeah, and as far as punching above its weight class, as far as given these towns are literally in the hundreds, the food experience is actually pretty fantastic, because you do get a lot of tourists running through these towns to actually get to Zion, right? So they're catering to the tourists, and actually a lot of the best restaurants in the area are actually right through Rockville and Springdale in particular.
Yeah. So I know that's really short, so we're just going to show you the driving tour right now so you can kind of get a feel of just how beautiful it is here. Okay, so just to give you an example of sort of how you can have your cake and eat it too, we wanted to do a little driving tour for you. We are currently in Laverkin, which is a cute little city, and then we're going to be heading into Toquerville, which, like I had mentioned before, they are building sort of a byway to divert the traffic from Main Street. We're actually going to be passing it very soon. You can see where they're building it, and then they're going to be building a lot of homes there, and then we're going to be driving through Main Street just to show you how cute it is, what a cute little small town it is.
Yeah, it's a massive development actually that's taking place. Firefly.
Yeah, not just that. Firefly's one of them.
But that's like a huge one.
That's a huge one. That's a 55 and over. But then they're doing other housing as well as retail, as well as commercial restaurants. There's a lot of plans over the next 20 years. Obviously, you never know what ends up happening. But,
yes.
But
that's the idea.
So to the left of us, you can see this is going to be the new road. And so on this road is where, to the left of us, you can see they're building it right now, is where all of the new development's going to happen. And they're trying to divert traffic from here, which we're on the 17 right here. They want to get people to stop coming through this part of Toquerville because they want to restore sort of its old town charm. Because a lot of people come through here as they head to Zion National Park. So
yeah, and you do have equestrian estates here. You do have, again, homes of all different sizes actually in Toquerville itself. But it's so cute, and you can see why they, as we get closer to the main street, basically, you can see why they want to preserve it, because it's like you took a portal to somewhere in the Midwest, some town there. Again, it feels very, very different than what you think of southern Utah.
Yeah, and there actually is an old railroad. I mean, nobody uses it anymore, but Toquerville actually, a long time ago, it used to be the place to be because it was right along the railroad, so there was a lot of development, but then it sort of ended up that St. George was really where all the development happened, and Toquerville is just kind of a small little town, so... Yeah, so I think what happened is that, when they busted through the gorge and they had the 15 going through, they didn't really need the railroad anymore, so kind of, that was that. And
you saw those deer crossing, so you have to watch out right in that spot.
Because the deers, they can read the signs. They cross at the deer crossing. I don't know if anyone knows that reference.
And then you have Pine Mountain like right in front of us here, and we're getting closer to the 15 freeway. So there's a couple different ways to get to Zion via the 15 freeway, and we're taking the Toquerville entry.
Yeah, and what's interesting is when we hit the 15 freeway, you can actually keep heading up north and you'll hit New Harmony, which we also talked about, which is a cute little small town as well. That one is higher elevation though, and so it is much colder in the winter in New Harmony, but it's super cute, super cute. We actually have a friend that lives out there. It's just super cute. So yeah, here we are. This is kind of like the old town Toquerville. You can see the little post office to the right.
That's so cute. The tree-lined streets.
Yeah, the tree-lined streets. You can see the old historic buildings. So this is what they really just want to make sure that the traffic isn't just going through here, tons of traffic. They want to really restore the old town Toquerville.
Or preserve.
Yeah, preserve it. So that's what they're doing with the little bypass that they're working on as we speak.
Yeah, and see how the little general store kind of things, and again, it's just super cute. And actually, and as we're going through Toquerville, there's all these little creeks, and it's just a very different feel than again the greater St. George region typically.
Yeah, and so yeah, as we finish it off, we're heading towards the 15 freeway.
Creek, we're going over.
Yeah, so Ash Creek. There's a lot of homes that are built along the creek. Actually, Sue and I, we did a couple of home tours in Toquerville, just kind of showing you just how cute it is. And yeah, so actually Sue was just telling me, you know, over the years she's done a decent amount of sales in Toquerville and just how cute it is.
No, I think I love Toquerville because again, it's still like unlike some of the areas that we just kind of went through. Toquerville is very conveniently located,
yeah,
and about to get even more so because you do have that retail and development taking place. But again, just has such a cool vibe to it. And remember, I am a licensed realtor here in the state of Utah. So as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, what you want to do is you want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country.